you know, going out there and sweating. Maybe you're just more of an indoor person. Well, you can still help us. You can be a bat advocate and talk to people about bats. You can take the information we have here today, tell people about how stupid this program, no, I'm kidding. Tell people about how wonderful bats are, why they're important to our communities and our neighborhoods and people in general. And you can start changing some of the attitudes out there in the community that might be negative toward bats. And there's a lot of them, believe me. Talk to your family and friends. You also can build workshops or build bat houses from our plans. Get on our website at floridabats.org. Download the plan for the 3-chambered house we have in the chair here and build your own bat houses for your property. Get together with your scout group. Get together with your community center. Get together with your church. Everybody get together, kick in $10, buy the material, and build a bunch of bat houses for your neighborhood. Build a bunch of bat houses for your community garden. These are all community projects and things that can be done for not much money and will be very beneficial to the bats. So you don't have to necessarily get involved with us in order to help. And you also can donate money, cash. The Florida Bat Conservancy is self-funded. We don't take money as a rule from any other organizations. We get no federal support, but we designed it that way 38 years ago because we wanted to be independent and we wanted to be able to spend our money where we felt like it was most needed and not be beholden to the political vagaries of the time. And we all know that political winds blow all the time, one way and the other, and sometimes organizations that are very worthy lose their funding for no other reason than they were on the losing side, which is dumb, but that's the way the world is. So we protected ourselves from that. We have no real estate. We do not have a facility. We work from our homes. Our entire board is volunteer, including myself and Ariel, who just walked in the back. We are all volunteers. We dedicate our lives, in some cases my entire life, plus my husband's life, to bats and bat house work. And we do a lot of work all over the state, and we love doing it. And none of the money that we get from our bat house work goes in our pocket. All of it goes to support the Conservancy's work in the field. So it's all important. But you can, if you so choose, and you don't want to do anything else, you can go to our website at floridabats.org, hit the little donate button on the website, and give us $5 or $10 or whatever it is you think it's worth. We've certainly put it to good use, and we won't turn you down, but we're not going to ask you for it again. That's it. Last thing about money. Trees. Something else you can do to help bats. You can quit hacking at your trees. Don't let other people come and hack at your trees. Be mindful of the trees and how important they are to the habitat and the landscape. Don't let somebody do this to your palm trees because it will kill them. It's only a matter of time before your palms will die. Okay, and you see them like this all the time, and most of the time, after about 5 years, they're dead. The only one making money in this whole process is the guy doing the trimming company. And of course, by the way, they're the same landscaping company that's going to sell you the replacement tree after they kill it. So they're making money at both ends, right? Well, that's great. You know, they're creating their own need. Well, how inventive. What you want to do instead is you want to preserve the trees in this condition. This is a healthy sable palm, or cabbage palm is the other word for it. These are healthy palms. They do not need to be trimmed. If you get on the University of Florida's website, your county extension agent will have this information as well. You can get it at UCF, you can get it from the Florida Native Plant Society. There's lots and lots of information about the proper way to trim all kinds of trees, and palms in particular. Very important trees. They grow differently than just about any other kind of tree. You have to treat them with care or you're going to kill them. So we talk about a 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock trim. You'll notice if you draw a line horizontally underneath the fronds, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You don't cut anything above 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock on a clock, okay, on a clock face. Everything stays in this shape. This is important habitat for bats. We have 3 species of bats that will never use a bat house. They're solitary, and they live in palms that look just like this. They do not live in palms that look like that. In fact, nothing lives in a palm tree that looks like that. So if you want to encourage bat activity in your neighborhood, you don't really have a space, or you don't really want bats in a bat house, you just leave your trees alone and keep them healthy, and bats will live in the trees as well. And you'll still have a population of bats. Let's see here. Something else you can do is commit to taking pesticides off your shelf and out of your life. Pesticide loads right now in North America have never been higher. Our waterways are suffering terribly. Our soil is laced with toxins. Our food is laced with toxins. Right now they're warning people, I have a gluten allergy, right now they're telling me don't eat rice because it's full of arsenic. I'm like, are you kidding? 3/4 of the world eats rice every day at every meal and it's full of arsenic. What next, right? This is all a big problem, and it's our own doing because we've allowed these chemical loads to become so massive and expected by turning our head away that the problem would just go away, and it doesn't. It's residual in the environment and continues to build up and become a bigger problem with each generation. We've now reached the point where the world population is so vast and people in the world are so hungry that we can no longer afford to keep poisoning our food supply. We've got to do a better job. So commit in your yard. You don't have to change the world, but you can change your own yard. You can change your own household. Commit to dumping those things, getting rid of them. Don't put them down the drain. Get rid of them. Go to a hazmat place and get rid of that stuff. Commit to using more natural products. You know, instead of Windex with the ammonia in it, use vinegar and a newspaper like your old granny used to do. It worked great. It was cheap. We've lost a lot of our wisdom when it comes to these kinds of things as we've become more industrialized. And we don't have to. We can do things the old-fashioned way and it's still just as effective and just as fast. You still got to rub the glass with something to clean it. Doesn't self-clean yet. So pesticide-free zones. Let's work on that. Don't forget about reestablishing trees and plants in your yard. Plant some pines. Plant some fruit trees. Fruiting trees and flowering trees are really important habitat for all kinds of birds and insects, and that will attract bats as well. And also, don't forget about flowers. Sometimes we forget about the small little flowering plants, and you know the truth is that little wildflowers are the first casualties when it comes to development. As soon as you start mowing a lawn or you start mowing the habitat, you are immediately destroying and killing all those little wildflowers that pollinators rely on. If you don't replant some of those things, you're not going to have any pollinators left. So this is another important thing. Think about trees in 3 dimensions. Tall things, medium-sized things, and then the ground covers that flower. That'll cover everybody's needs and help encourage bat activity as well. So this is the end of the program, and these 3 websites are really important for bat conservation. The Florida Bat Conservancy at the top. Again, you can get to our website, you can make a donation, or you can download plans for our bat house right here in the front, or you can do both of those things. Bat Conservation International is linked to us. We at batcon.org. They're headquartered in Austin, Texas, and they're probably one of the most critically important conservation organizations in the world today. They're doing a lot of work all over the world with bat populations, and they're a wonderful organization to also support. And then Bat World Sanctuary is also located in Texas, and it's sort of a sister sanctuary with us. We've learned a lot from them, and they've learned a lot from us about rehabilitating bats and releasing bats, how to care for injured and orphaned babies. They are a cornucopia of information, and if you have any interest at all in the biology of bats, it's a great website to go to. So I'm going to turn the lights back on. Everybody watch your eyeballs. It's going to get right, maybe.